our man on the scene, John Fanta, going to weigh in on this. He's Cleveland's own NBC Sports man about town, John Fanta. His time of the year, too. College basketball heating up on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. John, welcome to the show, buddy.
Here we go, guys. Great to be with you, talking to you courtside at Madison Square Garden right now.
Oh, look at that. Wow. Wow. So, of course, when we think about big city, we got to think about the Miami Redhawks. Bruce Pearl,
yeah.
TNT analyst now, longtime college basketball coach, said they have no shot, shouldn't have a shot to make the tournament outside of winning their own conference tournament. The Miami AD has since responded. Where do you stand on this David versus Goliath, Bruce Pearl versus the Miami Redhawks basketball program?
The Miami Redhawks should be in the NCAA tournament, especially if they finish their regular season with a win over Ohio. If they go into Cleveland undefeated, anything can happen in a conference tournament, no matter what the league is. And I do believe that an Akron or a Kent State could emerge as MAC champion. I think the league is very good. I think it's as good as it's been in a long time. You cannot sit here and tell me that the season is worth playing if you went undefeated in the regular season, then showed up to a neutral court where you could be playing a pseudo road game with the amount of fans that an Akron or a Kent would bring, and that then you don't deserve to be in March Madness. Miami University deserves to dance unless they lose their next, 2 games. They were to lose to Ohio and then lose in their first game in the MAC tournament. But I do believe, even with a loss to Ohio, that if they made the MAC final and they were to fall, that team has put together months and months. I know they don't have any quadrant one wins. For those who don't know that, that's the best quality win you could have in college basketball. But it's also because a lot of people would not play them. They asked for people to play them, and they would not, because high major teams in college basketball are afraid of the risk involved. They won't play people, and that's wrong. The Redhawks deserve to dance. What's the point of college basketball if you go undefeated in your regular season and you're not one of 68 selected to the field? There would be no point. Let those kids into March Madness.
All right, let's get to the Kyler Murray discussion. You heard us coming in. Where do you stand with Kyler Murray at the idea that he would be here on, because it's a $36.8 million hit that he still is going to have with Arizona, so it'd basically be like $1 million. It would be offsetting. It would be about as cheap as you can get, and you also wouldn't have to trade. Are you interested in the Kyler Murray business?
I'm interested in the business, and I think that he would be a part of 6 or 7 wins, but I don't think many people other than, some delusional folks think the Browns are not going to win 10-plus games next year. They're just not. I mean, if you think that they are, I don't know what to tell you, but, I mean, I got a bridge for you to buy, because that's not my expectation level for them. And if it is for you guys and that's what you want, I would love to know what the route is for that. But for that cheap, I would be willing to bring him in. I think the Browns are going to have to go and get a veteran quarterback. And Kyler obviously is coming off of, a season in which he plays 5 games, and there's a lot of unknowns with him. But the year prior to that threw for close to 4,000 yards. So I'm interested in it. I'm interested in having the conversation, because I do think it's necessary for this franchise to go and get someone that has some years of NFL experience on their roster for training camp. Now, am I saying that he is a foregone conclusion starter for this football team? No, but am I supportive of the idea that I could pay on the cheap and have him around for the competition and see if he could win it and see if Todd Monken and him could mesh and vibe? Yes, I'm interested in that concept.
All right, in this line then, John, if we put all the price tag aside, the draft collateral, the financial stuff, the years it would cost, who is, bar none, just hands down, the best quarterback the Browns could add this offseason?
Don't take too long now, John.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who's realistic, right?
I mean, anybody available seems realistic.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like that's going to be a thing for the Cleveland Browns, because there's all this discourse about Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders and what could happen with that. But what's your roadmap? Who do you want?
I think we've both been pretty vocal about Kyler Murray if it's going to go down that way.
I also am interested to some degree in Mac Jones.
That was my. Yeah, I mean, I guess those are the two that come up, but it's not like there's a home run name that's out there. That's why I was a little bit taken aback by the question, just because I'm thinking to myself, who could it be? Who? There's no one out there that checks every box, so you really can't be picky on this. I mean, you can be, but what can you really expect if it's Mac Jones and Kyler Murray? It's not like there's a selection of 7 or 8 guys that are out there for the Browns to choose from. This is not Cleveland Idol. I sure wish it was, but it's not. I mean, everything aside, no, I'm not interested in. I wasn't interested in the Kirk Cousins type thing. I know. There was some Daniel Jones type discourse, but I don't think that the Browns. I think that Kyler Murray and Mac Jones are both more valuable than the other options that I've seen, and the other options that we've seen. Although the Colts placed a transition tag on Daniel Jones, the New York Times reports here in the last hour. First on a quarterback in 30 years, nonetheless. That just happened in the last hour. But Mac Jones and Kyler Murray are the two guys that I've always looked at with both of you. To me, of the two, Murray threw for close to 4,000 yards in 2024, has done it 4 times in his career where he's thrown for close to 4,000 yards. So, I know that there's some durability. I know that there's some, can he make it work? But I'm interested in this. I think that this fits where the Browns are at as an organization. I would be very interested in Murray. If
he says no, do you feel like the plan then is Shedeur and Deshaun and they just kind of battle it out and we go from there?
Well, I still think that there's more. To me, Mac Jones, I'm not going to sit here and say that he solves all the problems, okay? But I do think, guys, that it's important for this organization to go and get a quarterback, someone else, not a first-round pick in the NFL draft. They have too many other needs as a franchise than to go and draft another quarterback, especially that early. I know Andrew Berry said in his press conference it's the most important position and whatnot. I almost want to look back and say, yeah, okay, most important position. Nice job drafting Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. Yeah, it is the most important position. And one of the draft picks that you exhausted on that was a guy who was not worthy of a 3rd-round pick in a Pee Wee League, nor alone the National Football League. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. He's not an NFL player. So the fact is, I don't like the idea of Shedeur and Deshaun. I don't know if you two are actually okay with it ultimately, but I am not a fan of that because Deshaun Watson has shown me nothing that says that he can be part of winning in Cleveland. And Shedeur Sanders has yet to show me enough. He should be in the mix. He could be the week 1 starter. He may be deserving of the job, but I think the competition has to be more legitimized. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, to some degree. To some degree. I think it depends on what your actual goal is. If your goal is to have a top 5 pick next year, let it ride, baby.
Yeah.
If your goal is to win as many games, which maybe sets Todd Monken up in the best possible situation this year, then I do think I need something other than Shedeur versus Anthony Richardson versus Deshaun Watson this offseason.
Yeah, John, let me tell you what I like about Shedeur versus Deshaun in this. I think there's a boom or bust component that I'm intrigued by. So if he busts out and it absolutely stinks, then great, you're in position for 2027 and the draft, which I think is ultimately what they're going for anyway. And then if he booms, then great, he booms, and you have an awesome quarterback on a rookie deal.
You like saying boom.
In that moment, yeah. I turn to the Costco guys.
If he – look, I agree with that, Jonathan. I do agree with that. Here's my counter to that. Does the GM align with that thinking? Because in my opinion, the counter that I would give you is if Sanders bombs out, right, and the whole thing drops out, does Barry have the job security to afford another season like this?
Yeah, that's something we just don't know. It seems like right now he feels like he's like the right-hand man of Haslam. You can make an argument that if his draft class this year hits like it did last year, it's not going to matter what happens on the actual field for this one more season.
Well, I don't know if I like.
I mean, I don't.
Agree with that a little bit.
We just don't know, John.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like 2020. We just don't know. Like, here's the thing. At some point, can you have 3 consecutive seasons of just losing on losing on losing and continue to have your job? Like, I get it, we don't know, but like, what is the expectation level then? I guess only time will tell on what the Browns honestly expect from year one of the Monken era, and maybe like that. Then what I will say is then we have to remember these conversations. We have to remember what they do with the personnel when we evaluate Todd Monken, because it's going to be hard to evaluate your first year head coach when the stack of cards could be stacked against, when the deck of cards could be stacked against him. We shouldn't be blaming him if Shedeur Sanders isn't particularly good. I'm okay with the boomer bust. I actually like that school of thought. And honestly, like, in that regard, don't go and get a veteran just to win 7 games. The worst place you can be is purgatory. So I get that. I don't know if the general manager feels the same way as we do when that guy's been in place for as long as he has been. And let's face it, guys, he's probably the next guy. Like, when the Browns, I hope that they don't have to make a change in 3 or 4 years. I hope that they don't have to make a change for the next 5 years. Wow. Like, I really hope that there's no change and that the head coach hire works out and the GM works out. I think we all hope that. As Browns fans, you should hope for that. You should hope for progression and winning. But let's face it, the next time they have to make a change, that GM is at this point probably the one to go. Does he feel safe enough? Does he feel good enough about his status to say, you know what, I am going to go boomer bust here. Jimmy, this is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it. But I believe that our draft people are some of the best in the league. They just proved it last year, and they can prove it again for the next 2 drafts. How do you feel?
John, March means Fanta. We know you got a game tonight. Enjoy the Garden, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
I love talking with you guys because the discussion is always fun. Happy March, and I look forward to next Tuesday. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you, John.